Okay, so I'm gonna open up.
We
Do
don't
we
have
have
to, do we have to motion it in? Or
No, do we have a printout of the actual survey now with Becky? She was supposed to forward her changes, did she?
Rebecca forwarded the modified version, and
Perfect.
this is it, but it has some notes on it that are mine. So there-
Okay,
For the record, we didn't have a survey for the board, the select board to approve. Sample questions were put before the select board to determine what survey they wanted to put forward to the trash and recycling committee.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
No, it's fine. I'm good with all that. This is,
The one with 8 questions is the one that passed the
Select
muster
board.
with the select board.
Was the one that they selected from the questions that were.
Right, there were originally more questions.
And they were
Right.
taken from Boxford and from the,
Yeah.
some of the initial questions. we
Yeah,
discussed.
I like
And then select, person, Boucher, she would.
Right, she made some
edits.
changes, yeah,
And,
so this
that's-
is
and Naves also.
where we are.
oh,
And so then the questions that I have here are from Mass DEP suggested, so.
so we could ask, do you think it's important to ask them what kind of size carts they have? Or Brian's suggestion, on average, how many standard kitchen bags of trash do you put out each week?
Or or both. So I have both of what are the current sizes of your trash and recycling carts, and this is abbreviated because I literally did it in 5 minutes when I got home from
I
work.
don't think we can ask people the size of their recycling carts.
No,
No, I don't think we can because
but this
many
is.
people are not using carts. I think we
No,
have
this
to
is
say.
the trash can.
No, the
size.
question here says, what are the current sizes of your trash? and
Why can't we
recycling?
ask?
Oh, no, yeah, because they don't have.
They don't necessarily have carts.
Yeah,
So I think we might have to change that to what are the
I
current
agree.
sizes of your trash and recycling containers?
Okay,
Because and add to that, a green bin
well,
under the recycling, because a lot of people are still using.
Yeah,
the
they
green
are.
Bins, and we're not giving them an opportunity to answer that, clearly as to what they're actually using. So that was when you were just talking about recycling.
no, you're right.
cart. I think we do have to think about the wording on that.
I think we have
The
to break
current
that
card
into two
information.
questions.
Well, it is already.
Now it's got like,
it's one.
it's
yeah,
one
weird.
question.
So
It's-
yes, we can
'cause
clarify that.
I would break it into two, and under the recycling carts, maybe make it fewer choices, just green cart,
Well, it's not a cart though, it's a bin.
okay, green bin,
Yeah.
green bin.
One green bin,
Specifically.
2 green bins. Then you could go into because I do have a cart at home. you know,
Well-
and-
Why do you care if they're using more than one green bin? Because I thought we just,
Well, because you're asking them what they're using now.
Well, pretty
Right.
much we want to know if they recycle.
yeah.
That's really the breakdown
Yeah.
for that.
Well, I'm working off the questions that we were given.
I know, but if we
So-
think outside the box a little bit,
I'm not. I'm just saying,
The question,
the questions that are in front of us, well, that's what I was working off of as,
I
to,
agree.
you know, just making sure that the language was appropriate.
see,
And where you say where we say recycling cart size, it's not appropriate because a lot of people are not using carts. They're using the green bins.
So we could
Point
say cart
taken.
/ containers.
Yeah, or, right, it's gotta have the word container in it, otherwise it just isn't appropriate, and people are gonna say, but wait a minute, I'm using, it doesn't fit, then they'll put other and you won't know what they're talking about. I don't know, I think that would be helpful.
okay, point taken. We can clarify that question for sure.
when the clerk does her survey that we're supposed to fill out, you know, the one that gets you on or off the registered voting list, do they ask us our ages on
The
that?
census, yes, doesn't it? Yes.
It
It wants to know your job even.
does it?
Yeah.
I thought you just initialed that nothing's changed. Am I wrong about this? Rebecca, do you remember?
I don't recall.
Me neither, yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah.
So are we,
I know you could do your dog license on the bottom. That's what I do remember about this sentence. That's pretty stupid, but so I'm thinking that you just kind of go through it like, yeah, nothing's changed.
I believe that if I recall correctly, it lists out all the individuals in your home and the occupation, and then if there is a change, you are to cross out and to update, and then you're
Yeah.
to sign and return,
Right.
and or you just sign and return.
Right. Now, does she put that data into a digital form?
I believe that they have some type of system that they would update that information accordingly.
Okay, because I would want to make sure that this demographic kind of lines up with whatever she's got.
Is it important to us to know the age range of the people answering the survey?
Well, because what if we get a response, but it's really slanted towards one age bracket or another, and it does
Okay.
not represent, like, I'm not saying we're gonna get a statistically, significant survey. That's very difficult to do
Yes.
and requires a lot of follow-up because you have to randomly select
It would be
and you have
door
to
to
keep
door.
following up
Yeah.
to make sure you get it. But if the clerk has this data already about the town, it's probably pretty accurate. So, they say our demographic of some 60 and older is getting bigger
Mhm.
percentage wise, right?
Mhm.
And the demographic of 30 and under is less.
Mhm.
So you're just saying you want to make sure that these categories match.
The clerks, so that we're not
Categories,
doing
yep.
so many categories. I feel like this is a lot of breakdown. Like,
Well, she may,
people might say like,
if we just make sure that we're matching how the clerk is surveying,
correct,
then I'm fine with that.
yeah, yeah.
But it's basically, the question's just asking the age of the head of the house.
Well, yeah,
It's not asking for the ages of all.
I know, I thought that question was kind of, you want the age of the head, you don't want the age range of the head, because,
Right,
well, we want to know what bracket they fall into. Like,
yeah, but you don't want, but
are
a
you
head of household only has
you know,
one age.
Empty
Change that.
nesters, are you raising your
just
kids?
remove that word.
Are you
yeah.
Get
young?
rid of range, just
Yeah.
get rid of range. But before we finish that question, how are we finding out what address people are at?
They have to add it in.
They just type it in? Because you only want one response from each household?
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if there's any way we can use the assessor's database, but probably not, right? Because they have all the households, they have all the street addresses.
They have the parcels.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we just
So-
have to put on the survey, please, only one response per household. Otherwise, it's gonna be skewed.
Well, you can just code code it, like when it's coming in, like if you can sort it by address and you have multiple responses from one address,
But you're doing mostly this online, right?
yeah, it's gonna be online, not by hand.
Right.
Well, I don't know if that's entirely fair either, because there's so many people who are not internet savvy. Yes, oh my God, I just met two more.
Well, okay, so
You could have some paper copies at town hall or
only if we
at
can
the library.
scan them, like you have bubbles, scan them. Cause
Usually you have to type it in.
no, not if you,
Is it Survey Monkey we're
Tell us,
using?
teacher.
yeah, well, so I'm just thinking like this stuff, I'm trying to think of the name. Right now I use Google Quizzes, which lets them do it live. But we had another software before that you could give the kids a bubble sheet, the things that scan the bubble sheets.
Yes,
It's not that difficult.
okay.
Why don't we just concentrate on the question?
Yeah, I think the questions are most important and the rest of it will fall into place because
Right.
we can,
But we do have to make sure somehow we encourage only one person from a household, right?
Yeah, we can add that.
Yeah, so let's add that in, because it isn't on this one, that's why I'm.
yeah, you could put that in the open and just
Addable.
say, we would prefer one person from each household to respond as to the household's uses, as to household use for trash or recycling, household habits. I think, like, what do we say? This is really well written. It's just, I think, a little bit over their heads.
Very wordy.
Well, I think
That's
it's
why I
over their
wanted to
heads.
condense it.
It's more of like a report.
Yeah,
And I was trying to make.
that's why I thought if we could condense it a little bit into just, because nobody's, that's gonna be a TLDR. Nobody's
Well-
gonna read it.
Rather than starting with why we're doing it, start with this sentence right here. We are, dear resident, We are seeking your feedback to better understand residents. I don't like waste habits. That sounds like poop.
How do you poop?
Habits or preferences or habits. God, is there another word for habits? Your, I guess there really isn't. Residents' habit, well, we can just take out waste, then it doesn't sound so icky. Understand residents' habits and
Oh, yeah.
preferences regarding trash and
Perfect.
recycling,
Yes,
period.
yes,
Trash and recycling. Don't make it about a cart size.
No,
less
I agree.
wordy.
Yeah.
I think
so-
all you need is that, 2 sentences.
Yeah,
The Trash and Recycling Committee is seeking your
But-
feedback.
I guess I want to make sure that it's at this, and I think letting people know that you're saving money and also saving our dwindling landfill space and also less of the incinerator, because just a reminder, just because things are incinerated, the air pollution is terrible around those incinerators. It's a terrible environmental justice issue, actually nationwide. And then also the ash is buried and creates terrible pollution for
So
water.
what I would like to do is move the household. I think Becky said this too, move this to the end, the demographic.
She did?
I thought she did during our meeting. She talked about moving the question order around. Do I-
Yeah, I heard her say something about moving the question order, but
Yeah, and because it's awkward starting out with all this personal
Oh,
data.
yeah, good.
So
I just
thought-
copy and pasted what she sent me into the survey, so.
Okay, so Brian has a very good question I thought we could open with, because I'm curious. Do you feel that you have reduced the amount of trash you put out as a result of the trash limit that began in February 2022? I bet you everyone's gonna say no.
Yeah, well, because it's not enforced. Just.
Right, but we want to know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I like that
But
question.
doesn't the tonnage tell you that?
yeah.
Yes, well.
I know,
he-
but you could also say, growth. I'm just curious what people think.
But isn't it supposed to be a targeted survey into finding out what type of waste habits we have and carts?
Yeah.
It's also supposed to be educational, though.
Yeah, but I mean, some people probably don't even know that we had a trash limit.
Right.
Oh, maybe that's
I
the
think
question.
that,
Are you aware that there is a limit on the number of barrels you can put out? I bet you they'll say nope.
Yeah.
Or that might piss them off. I don't know. I'm just curious how many people really knew that we wanted them to go to 2 barrels, just looking at what's going
I
on.
mean, I don't know how the people were told about that.
We put out, Waste Management did a mailing with the new routes and everything, and it said it, it told them, and then I think, I don't know if we did anything else beside that.
Hmm.
I think that was what Waste Management, I think, did it all. Because the routes had to go out like twice, if I remember right, because there was, I don't know, there was mistakes. It was when Catherine was in charge. It was not,
so say we just
Not
leave the
everyone.
demographic information at the top for now. Maybe we could
Well-
just go through each question that's already
well, the
kind of
thing
there
is,
and see how we want to change them or
what
not.
I'm concerned about is you want to kind of hook people in. And I honestly mean that. I mean, I think you want to get them interested in helping us. And if you ask too many personal questions at the beginning,
I don't have a problem with that. It's just that I'd like to work on each question.
Okay, let's
And then
do-
maybe we could,
circle
They-
back.
But
Just change
definitely,
the
can we
order.
just make a note to change the order at least?
Yeah.
I mean.
right,
uh,
exactly. We could change it when we're all done.
Okay, so she wants us to write, this is what, are you handing me, this is, this is yours.
Yeah,
A-
that was mine.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, it was condensed because I was in here. And it's just pretty much adding Brian's questions.
Hmm.
And I left out cart size preferences because I thought we talked about leaving that out.
Let me just see this. So.
And I kind of changed, I don't know, yeah. That's my copy, so.
This is what went through our meeting, right?
Yes,
Okay, so,
So are some of these questions correlate with this, right?
yeah.
And some of them are
Yes.
new, so maybe that's, like, we already know we gotta put the address in, right, somehow. How many people in your household? We have that one already. Age range of head of household, is that what you wanted to do, Stephanie, here with age range? Were you keeping it the same as the age
I
range
guess
question?
if that's the way you want to do it, maybe we had a survey. This survey is per household. Please add your address.
What is the select all that apply? I lost.
I know that part didn't, so like, I think it has all of those things on it, but it didn't print
Oh,
when it printed this at work.
okay.
But see how it's got the toothpaste thing in there and everything.
I,
Rebecca, what does your copy say?
I don't know where,
Question number 5, sub B.
Food waste and composting.
Yeah, so it says, would you be interested in participating in any of the following additional recycling or waste reduction programs? Select all that apply, and then it's missing on my copy.
That's the one that came from Jan's survey about food waste and composting.
what's this?
Oh, those are my notes when I was talking to Brian.
yeah, but the second part, I think Stephanie's talking, would you be interested in participating in any of the following additional recycling or waste reduction programs? It only has textile and TerraCycle. Actually, we should add black earth composting, right? Yard
No, we
composting
don't.
at the highway yard.
We don't
The reason they
offer,
remove, because we don't offer them, they would have to purchase them.
So I don't know if that question is,
Yeah, then I don't think that question even makes sense to only have those two things in there.
that's why I,
Because in the original preamble, it talks about TerraCycling and black earth composting and yard composting in the original preamble. So it doesn't make sense to me to not have all those in that question or just take the whole thing
that's
out.
why I think we should cut a lot of that out of the preamble. Cause nobody's.
You know what I
gonna
mean?
read that.
It just doesn't match.
Okay, I deleted it.
But
I think the preamble needs to be downsized significantly. But so I changed that to, do you compost vegetable scraps or other food waste? Vegetables only, other food, none at all. And have you considered, one of Brian's questions was, have you considered ways to reduce the amount of trash that you throw out?
so we're gonna get rid of this one.
So I thought that was, you know, coming from DEP. And then I added the question, because we've been talking about, how can the town help you to divert more towards recycling, composting, recycling? Or, yeah, I added recycling twice. So I just cleaned up the questions a little bit because they're so dense. And it needs to be at a 5th grade reading level for, that they teach us in nursing school to make sure everything that you use to educate the public is at a 5th grade reading level. Needs to be easy for all of us to read, right?
Are we talking about the preamble now or the question?
I'm looking at the preamble, we can handle in like a couple of minutes. I think that, I don't see the point of this question on how satisfied they are right now, because we won't know why they're
I
dissatisfied.
think we should dump that question.
Yeah. I just dump it now in favor of, let me think.
It doesn't really matter if people are satisfied or not with the current waste management system. You know, I don't think that gives you any useful information, really.
Right, well, right now, most people, I think, the driver is usually friendly and takes everything you throw out there, so they're pretty satisfied, except some people don't like getting picked up on Fridays, because that one's.
Right, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
not gonna give us much information, I don't think.
Just a minute.
So,
Take out the words current. Um,
Which one are you on?
The, number 3.
Okay.
So how often is your trash cart too full to handle your waste? Present tense, short and sweet. And then how often is your recycling cart large enough to meet your needs? Yes or no? Is it or isn't it?
Why do we care?
Just an interesting thing to see how they feel about it. You don't have to work the word feel in, we're getting their feelings. You don't have to ask them, do they feel? We just want to know. How often
Do
is
we
your,
want to know? To what end?
well, because if they, works, I'm expecting them to say their recycling cart is not large enough, because a lot of people are using the green bins, and I've watched what else they try and throw out there,
Mm-hmm.
The only trouble is we're not able to extrapolate if the person who has a 35 gallon recycling cart is the one who's also saying it's not large enough to meet their needs.
Yeah, but I think we can extrapolate that if a vast majority of people say, if, let's say, for example, it came back and said, they said, my trash cart is hardly ever too full, or my recycling cart is never large enough.
Mhm.
That would be leaning towards at least a 64 recycler. That's what I would take from that. I would just say, well, they want more room for recycling.
Mhm.
They've got enough room for their trash. Isn't that kind of what we're thinking, what we're trying to figure out? We want to know if the vast majority of people are struggling.
Right, right. So if you,
With the bins they currently have, are they struggling with their
yeah, so
trash?
just, if
Or
you
their
just
recycling.
change it to recycling container so that that's consistent.
Yes, that's
So
right.
here's the thing though,
Container, just say container, you're right. We don't have carts yet, and I'll tell you, I don't know what a cart is, except through this committee.
Right, right.
So can we say trash container as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, because when Rebecca started throwing around carts, I'm like, what? I think of shopping carts.
Yeah, that
Now I don't
sounds
know,
good.
but initially I wasn't familiar with that reference. So I'm afraid that people might think that we're talking about
So we're-
something they don't own.
basing this answer on what they answered to the previous question? What is your trash cart size?
Well, we're finding out, first of all, how often do you feel that your trash container you can't put all your trash out, that you don't have enough room? Okay, because that's gonna be an indicator about how ready we are to go to a reduced container, right? If people are telling us that occasionally they can't fit all their trash out, okay. We can extrapolate it that a lot of people are just using 2. There are people using more, but not there's a lot of people doing 2 in the town. Kind of close to what we asked them to do.
but the trouble is you don't know what their current trash container is.
Oh, I know.
But that's in the
So it's not
previous
really-
Why we have.
No,
we
but it's
do-
not, but
But
you're
we'll
not gonna
have that,
know.
we'll have that in this question where it asks them
Question
the
two,
sizes.
yeah.
Yeah, but
It
are you
has-
gonna look at each individual survey to figure
No, we
that
can
out?
code it. We should be able to code it and sort it. Yeah, the yeses and the nos. We should be able to, if you throw it into like an Excel sheet, you can sort on any column you want.
Mhm.
I know, but do you actually see the survey that way, or does it just all go into a pool?
Oh, no, 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 I
not
see it,
sure.
I see it on like an
You
Excel.
can see each
Like-
individual
like for
person's.
instance, well, look, so that,
I'm just talking about getting the data out of it. I just want to make sure that,
if, you look at like what the state has done, like they did a ginormous survey.
This Excel spreadsheet that I can hardly read. that-
Yes, I love
Yes.
that sheet.
Yes.
Okay, so ours will have less than that, but it will be similar to that. And then we can also, we know the tonnage of the other towns and we know the cart sizes of other towns.
Yes.
So that's that you could, because I almost went back to Brian and asked him I downloaded that Excel sheet because I think we can sort it. And we could block out the towns we're not interested in comparing to.
Mhm.
If we're just interested in aspects, like you can't compare the contracts because they're too individualized. But if you just want to know population size and cart sizes, and then trash tonnage per capita, per person, per household,
Right,
you could do that.
yes,
You could do that.
because
From
that's,
that.
that's what he
I don't,
was,
I've never seen this. I'm
Thank-
sorry, but I haven't seen
right,
Yeah.
he,
all this correspondence.
because I requested it.
No.
Well, that's great, but
I
it's
didn't
hard for me to follow
No,
because
no, I didn't request it.
There you go.
I
what
just.
you're talking about.
You got it.
I looked it up. Let me put it up bigger for, I looked it up because I love this kind of stuff. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of survey though that we're talking about right now.
No, but you can take that survey and our survey and put it into that frame.
Yeah, so what he told me is based on tonnage measurement, that people who have the towns that have the 35-gallon trash cart have reduced their household tonnage to 0.75 tons per household per year, which apparently is quite exciting. So, I mean, if that's the goal, is to reduce the overall tonnage and reduce the overall cost that way, in addition to the automation.
So just to give you an idea, like what I'm trying to say, ours would never have this many columns, but you can take any survey and you have the date, every question is a column. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know, I'm just saying, here's my question. I guess I'm just not making myself clear.
Okay.
Okay. So, for example, when you saw the Boxford results of
Yeah,
their
and they did
survey,
pie
they were
charts.
pie charts.
Yes.
You didn't actually see like one person's
Survey.
you know, so
No.
that you could actually relate the people that said, all the people that said they had a
Right.
64-gallon recycling cart, it was not enough. You know what I mean?
But I mean,
Are we doing this? What
You could-
survey
you could
vehicle
have-
are we doing?
we
this
only
with?
have
Are we
2,200
doing it
houses.
with survey, is it the same survey vehicle that we did for the Garrison Street
I guess. I
survey?
mean,
That's what I'm just. very
I'm assuming,
unclear.
Rebecca, you tell me, the survey data should be in a format that if we wanted to have 2,200 lines of it, we could, right?
So we were going to use the Google survey as the venue.
Okay.
Bring that forward.
All right, I can look that up, but I would think the same thing, because I do the Google quizzes and I do Google exit surveys for my students, and I can see each individual result as well as overall
Compile.
summary. Yeah, yes, I can see
Okay.
the summary, but I can click summary, or I can go through
Mhm.
each person's result, and then I can, oh, and then you can output it to a Google sheet. That's how I do my grades.
Yes, the data would be able
Yes.
to be migrated and would present you with charts and
Yeah,
details.
just want to make sure that that we're getting the information out that we need.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean? That's all.
right.
And I didn't know which survey vehicle we were using. So
I'm just
Well, I don't
worried
either.
about the people who can't do a Google survey.
We said that we would provide some copies of the survey in paper format. And then we would try and input the information ourselves. But again, that's a lot of work on our end if there's a lot more that participate via paper
Can we
survey
scan
than
them?
electronically.
Yes. Do you know if we can scan a Google survey in?
We can scan the survey, that's not a problem, but I just mean you can print the survey too, so you can take the survey.
you could have a few at the library, you could have a
I
box.
know, but how do we then, like
Then we
she's
need
saying,
to
then we have
sit
to
them.
manually enter that.
No, well, the thing is, let me just think about it. Like when we did it with tests, the questions would be on one page and the answers would be on,
On the Scantron, but
yeah.
like, we don't have a Scantron.
Well, we just scan them in with our laptops.
I mean, how many are you really gonna get?
That are
It's
paper?
probably not that many. I mean, I'm happy to type them in. It's not a big deal.
Well, type them in or just bubble in, if you bubble them in,
Whatever works. I'm
Yeah.
happy to do it.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
So
let's,
we won't make anybody at the town hall. Let me just, Brian suggested that we try to ask the question about fairness of trash, allocation of trash cost. And I'm kind of like in my head trying to think about how to ask that, because people are not gonna understand. I mean, trash has always been just part of the tax rate. All we've ever done is one size fits all. Everybody pays equally the same amount for trash, whether you throw out one little trash bag or 4 dumpsters.
Right.
Right.
He didn't have any suggestion as to the wording for
Well,
that?
so one was if it meant saving money for the town and taxpayers, how likely are you to reduce your trash? Oh, that was actually, I reworded that one from there.
Then this one, the
Have
original.
you considered ways to reduce the amount of trash that you throw out?
I like that question.
All the time. He wanted to know, his was, have you consistently considered ways to reduce? And I changed it to, have you considered ways to reduce the amount of trash that you throw out? And then my answers would be all the time, hardly ever, or never. Cause that would give you an idea of how much education you have to do about trash diversion.
Yep, and that like people that are keenly aware and trying to recycle and,
Correct.
and some people are already composting, we just don't know it. They've
And
thrown
that,
their
and I added that too. Do you compost vegetable scraps or other food waste? And my answer was vegetables only, other food, none at all.
Do we need to know? Can't we just ask them if they compost?
Well, because I compost in my backyard and you compost with Black Earth.
Yeah, but does it matter how I compost?
No,
You're spending money to do it and I'm doing it for free for.
I know, but I'm just saying, don't you want to just know if people are composting, right? Like how many? And what age bracket?
Well, yes, and that will loop into the previously answered question.
Because it'll also help us understand. I don't see how in a survey we can give them information about the environment and the toxins. You can't do that in a survey. But
Well,
what we can
that's the
find out in
preamble.
a survey is what are they aware of? And so,
Well, so that's how I started my question, was about 1/3 of our trash output is food waste. Do you compost vegetable scraps or other food waste?
yeah, I would just put, do you compost?
You would
But-
skip the.
Yeah,
1/3
I
of our
would,
trash.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, the
Did we
one,
mean it to be educational though?
we have one,
I
the
wouldn't-
question's already in
If
there.
it gets
The
too,
simpler the
No, but
better.
I wanted to simplify it because some of these questions are so
No,
complicated.
this one is really simple. Do you currently compost food waste at home? Yes or no?
I like that. Even if they're just throwing the
don't
coffee
think
grounds
it-
outside,
yeah.
that's something.
True.
True.
I don't think we need to know the
My mother used to
specifics.
do that. She used to fill the coffee grounds.
Well, the only
and
reason I tried to
vegetables.
specify is because some of us, again, already use Black Earth.
Yeah.
Which would be, that would be non-vegetables. Cause I can't throw
Okay.
food
but
waste in my compost.
For now, I just want to know if people are doing any kind of composting, then they're at least familiar with
Okay.
the concept.
All right. you
They
got
know
it.
that it's something you can actually do, right?
Okay,
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
okay, unless you wanted to specify as one of the answers. Because the question is, do you compost food waste at home? The implication of that is you have a composting bin, you're putting it in your own bin. If you wanted to make sure there was, you could have a secondary question that said, do you compost with Black Earth compost? I mean, they're the only ones in town, so
I
if
guess,
you really need to know that, you could just.
I don't
make
wanna
it a
add
separate
more.
Question.
yeah. If you just want to know, do you compost, then
You
yeah,
could take out at home, just say, do you currently compost your
Yes.
food waste?
take out the at home.
Okay. Sounds good.
Can you cross that off?
Just a minute. I'm just writing this. I think I just came up with a question.
And that's simple, yes or no?
Do you compost? Yes, no.
That one's done.
No, that's, wait a minute.
So the one you brought, Stephanie, is almost like the one that's there, only have you considered ways to reduce the amount of trash you throw out?
I
And
wanted it to be an easier question.
yeah, so the other one is, but the other one is directly related to if it resulted in savings to the town and taxpayers. Do you think you just want to keep it? Have you considered ways to reduce the amount of trash? Or are we thinking we want to find out if people are aware that the cost would go down if they could reduce their trash? I guess that's my question. What do we really want to get out of question 6?
I like both the questions, I guess, because it speaks to whether people have put thought into reducing their trash. And then the other question is informing people that we're gonna save money by reducing the trash.
Yeah, but you don't want two questions, right? So don't want to add another question if we don't have to.
I think it's two different thought.
Okay, this is too wordy, but under the current system, all residents pay for trash services based on their taxes, not the amount of trash they throw out. Are you interested in a system that assigns trash cost based on the amount or something like that? So again, it's under the current system, all residents pay for trash services
But so
based on their taxes, not the amount of trash they throw out.
But
That's
here's-
a basic, simple.
even
statement.
if we shrink our cart size, we are not fully pay as you throw, so that
No,
question
no, no,
doesn't
no,
matter.
no.
Yeah,
But
I think it
So
just
that-
muddies the water.
That question doesn't matter because we're not strictly pay as you throw yet.
No, we're not.
And
but-
even if
Okay,
we transition to
so
smaller carts,
what do
we're
we
not
want?
pay as
And
you
I
throw
think we
yet.
have to be really careful about saying that whatever changes occur means it will never have an override again, or will never this or that.
Well-
We really don't know how much
Well,
trash is gonna end
But
up
honestly,
costing in the
Jan,
next
if
5
if
years.
like,
So I mean, we can't really make promises like that.
well, we can make commitments like in the 5-year term, like,
Right, we can do all we can, but we don't have complete control over trash contracts. And what costs, how the costs might or
What
might
says that,
escalate.
what says that? What
nothing
can
in
you-
the survey says it now, but the idea would be that if, like, let's say you just did what Rebecca threw out one day was a flat amount on each household, whatever. So you have this steady revenue coming in to help pay for tonnage. If it's not gonna be trash that unbalances the budget, right? That, it wouldn't be that because the only part of the trash that would be in the budget would be the pickup cost. And that is something we can negotiate on. We can control that. You know what I mean? That's in the contract and we know what it's gonna be, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5.
It's the tonnage.
It's the tonnage we can't,
But until we go to pay as you throw, I don't think that question is.
yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think I think it muddies.
No, it does muddy it a lot. I can't think of a way out of it without a million words, so.
But you want a fairness question in there. The only
Well,
problem is,
no,
if you
maybe
think
it's
about
too
it,
soon.
it is, I think it's too soon. I think that
Yeah.
is 3 years from now, when we're doing the next contract.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
When we probably are gonna be moving towards pay as you throw,
Yeah.
but we're not there yet.
Yeah, no, I get it too. I think this should be short, to the point, and should be promoted as we're trying to help you and you need to help us. For us to help you, you gotta help us. We gotta know more about what you're doing.
Yeah,
Cause like, just our impression driving around town, how much people are throwing out, that's not good enough.
true.
Yeah, cause impressions are like subjective.
And does it depend what neighborhood you live in? too?
Correct.
Like
Correct, if you have a lot of older citizens, you might see just one small can
or
out.
wealthier citizens?
I don't know that that has a difference.
Well, I don't either.
Me neither.
So why don't we go back to 6?
Okay,
Because we haven't decided
trash cans.
where that.
So this, if it meant saving money for the town and taxpayers, how likely are you to reduce your trash output? I thought that sounded a little bit. Because the whole point is to divert, so we can just remove, recycle more from there. Because reducing your trash output means that you're diverting to all the other options that we're gonna present to them.
I'm worried about the additional comments.
If it meant saving money for the town and taxpayers, how likely are you to reduce your trash output?
What about, do you have to say to the town and taxpayers, if it results in savings, how likely are you to just put savings? Right?
Well,
Why do you have to say?
because you have to specify this.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
their
I think you
pocket.
do need either town or taxpayers.
Well, why wouldn't it be one and the same?
Just say savings to the town budget.
Well, savings to the
Because that
taxpayer.
doesn't hit their pocket. I like if it meant saving money for the town and taxpayers.
Okay, so
How
leave that
likely
in.
are
Would
you to
you-
reduce your trash output?
Why not say for the taxpayer? Why? The town is the taxpayer. I mean,
Well, the town is firefighters' jobs, cop jobs, the library.
I know, but
If it meant saving money for the town and taxpayers, so that means keeping the jobs and also your pocket.
But we're on the inside circle, so we know what that means. If I'm just sitting at home reading this, I don't think I will know why you're asking me about the town. Who is the town?
But isn't that why we always argue about overrides? It's the town and taxpayers, right?
Well, the
You're saving
taxpayers are the
jobs,
town.
you're keeping the library open,
But
and then you're also keeping money in or out of your pocket. How likely are you to reduce your trash output and skip recycle more?
how about if it resulted in savings?
If it saved you money, how likely are you to reduce your trash output?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, if it saved you money,
Yes,
how likely are you to reduce, okay,
I like that a lot.
I
How
still, I
likely are you
think,
to
I
reduce the
think
trash
having the
output?
town in there makes more sense though.
I just wonder, I mean, I'd love to just give that question to somebody who doesn't know nothing and say, what do you
That's
think
true.
we're asking you? You know, 'cause that's my concern is like when I first read about carts, it took me a little, not being sincere.
I didn't know
took
what
me-
cards were either.
Okay, it took me a little
I'm so
time to
glad you're saying
understand
that,
that
'cause
we're
I was like,
talking
cart.
about a trash can. Not
Yeah, I didn't either,
Yes.
thank you. for
Yeah,
saying that.
so for me, the, lingo of town and taxpayer, that's the finance committee.
No, you're
lingo.
absolutely right, yeah.
Everybody in the know, but we're really a small.
Do you want me to phone a friend?
Like who?
Matt? Matt is clueless, could ask him. I know, he's not clueless, I don't mean that. Or I could phone a neighbor, you want me to ask her?
How about if you just said, would you be willing to reduce your trash output and recycle more if it saved money? If it saved money resulting in lower taxes? No, I can't say that. If it saves money and protects town budgets, how about that?
Well, how about if you just take that,
Cause that's,
just do Stephanie's question instead. Have you ever considered ways to reduce the amount of trash that you throw out? I don't have it linked.
But I think they're two different questions.
But you're probably not gonna ask two questions that are that similar. Right? Cause one is kind of,
I don't think they're that nuanced.
well, one is specifically connected to whether or not reducing your trash is gonna put savings to the town budget. And the other one is just kind of an ethical question or, just, have you ever considered, I think we have to have one or the other. I don't think we can have both of them, doesn't.
both of which questions?
I'm looking at Stephanie's,
Have you considered ways to reduce the amount of trash that you throw out? All the time, hardly ever, never, because that kind of speaks to whether or not somebody's gonna be open to recycling, period. And this one is, if it meant saving money for the town and taxpayers, how likely are you to reduce your trash output? Very likely,
But-
likely,
But
neutral, unlikely.
that's gonna lead back to Ed's thing that you're telling them you're gonna lower their taxes and we're not gonna lower. their
No,
taxes.
nothing about that says lowering taxes.
I was thinking more in line with what Taylor said. I think it was Taylor said. You wanna spend, we have a $20 million budget, right? Right? So 10%, what is 1 million of 20 million?
5%,
5%, right? Am I right?
yes,
My mouth brain's tired. So.
right? 1 million of 20 million, yeah, 5%.
5%, yep, okay. So how about,
Teacher.
yeah, no, I know my brain's tired this week. So something like that says trash cost has escalated to 5% of the town budget. would you be willing to help?
No, you can't put math in here.
Well, no, because I mean, that's just the free up, you know, I don't know.
Once you put math in here, I don't think,
Too
because then
many
it just reminds
statistics.
you of those
Well, except that
questions from.
people, you don't understand that some people just don't even know how much it costs us to do trash
They
pickup.
also don't care.
Yes, maybe, but they also want all these things, all these projects, all
Agreed,
these
but that's not the
CPA.
point of the survey.
Yeah, okay.
If it saved you money, how likely are you to reduce?
It's not
It
gonna
was not
save
gonna
them.
save you money.
It's not
So it
gonna
has to
save-
be, if it meant saving money for the town and taxpayers, how likely are you to reduce your trash output? Very likely, likely, neutral, unlikely. Have you ever considered ways to reduce the amount of trash that you throw out? All the time, hardly ever, never.
It's not really savings.
If it meant,
Reducing our trash budget, how likely are you to reduce your
We're not
trash?
gonna
We're gonna
reduce the
recycle
trash
more
budget.
to reduce our trash budget.
no,
How
because
about if you just put something here?
What?
Our average, well, no, they may not know what tonnage cost means, but
nope.
it should be directly related to the cost of the tonnage. Cause that's that's the cost that you're gonna bring down, is the
Yeah.
cost of getting rid of it.
Yes,
If it meant cost savings, no.
if it saved money in the town budget, if it saved money in the town budget, that's really what you're saying.
Yeah.
If it meant saving money for the town and taxpayers is exactly what you just reworded.
Do you think so? Because I'm
Yeah.
worried that they think that Ed's gonna jump on that and say that you're telling the taxpayers they're saving money, and I'm
No,
not.
you
gonna-
are saving from an override.
Avoided cost is more the thing, that the money that gets freed up will honestly be allocated in other places. We know.
How about if we just say, in order to reduce the cost of disposal, would you be willing to
Ah,
try to
okay,
reduce?
write that
the
down.
trash?
In order to reduce, well, we're not reducing, in order
The
to
cost of-
maintain the cost of
No,
disposal.
we are reducing.
If you're
The trash
reducing
disposal.
tonnage, you're reducing cost.
Okay, right, in order to reduce the cost of disposal,
Trash disposal, trash. Because we want the.
well, trash is already in there. In order to reduce the cost of disposal, how
Oh,
likely
this-
are you to reduce your trash output?
It's still, it is
And,
an awkward sentence.
and recycle more. And recycle more.
No, I want to leave recycle more out because it's part of diverting and reducing trash.
Oh. We don't
In
want,
order to reduce the cost of disposal,
but I thought that's what.
Why don't you start it with, would you try to reduce your trash output in order to,
or we could keep it at how likely are you?
when you
to
start it with
reduce?
if.
We've got
then-
8 minutes.
I know.
How likely
Okay,
are you
giving
to,
you the timer.
how likely are you to reduce your trash output in order to reduce the cost of disposal for the
Yeah, we
town,
could do that.
for the town? Okay, that's it.
That's fine.
That's,
How likely are you to reduce your trash output?
and I get rid of neutral. Just say very likely, likely, unlikely, very unlikely.
Yeah, neutrals.
Neutral doesn't make any sense.
Okay, and very unlikely? I mean, we could just keep it at unlikely. Because clearly
Well, you-
very unlikely
or
we
you
need
know,
us.
Or you could just leave it yes, no,
I would
would you be
say
willing?
prefer not to answer. Some people, that's on some surveys, you'll see that prefer not to answer.
And they can just leave it blank if they don't want to.
Yeah,
Okay,
to decrease the wordiness. And then after we ask that question, then can we say, have you considered ways to reduce the amount of trash you throw out all the time, hardly ever, never?
If you want.
I really like that.
See what we end up with, how
But
many
is-
questions?
this question gonna give us the information we want? Why do we care what the second question is?
Because the second question means they've already thought about it.
Yeah, but read me your first question again.
How likely are you to reduce your trash in order to reduce the cost of disposal? How likely are you to reduce your trash output in order to reduce the cost of disposal for the town?
Okay, well, if
And then the
there
next question is, have you considered ways to reduce the amount of trash that you throw?
no,
out?
I think that's redundant. I think you've got your answer.
I don't think it is redundant.
I do, because if they answer very likely, then they're going to say they're already doing stuff.
Okay,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think one question
Yeah.
about that is fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're just kind of hitting the same thing.
Okay, so what's the next one we gotta do?
7, the cart sizes.
I want to skip that one.
I was
I don't see the
thinking,
point of it.
instead of asking that,
Well, we did propose it to the board, the select board, though. I don't want to appear like we're hiding stuff from people. You know what I mean? You don't think that we should at least see what they say?
I don't want to know about feelings.
Feelings.
How do you feel?
Oh. Okay, so ask it differently then. We're considering 35, rather than how do you feel? Would this work for your household? Yes, no, maybe, not sure.
How is that going to change our plan?
why don't we,
Well,
why don't
I
we
mean-
ask them if receiving a lidded wheeled trash cart and a lidded wheeled recycling cart would help them
Oh, I like that.
instead of the size?
I do feel slightly concerned because I believe that while one
The
select
select
board
board.
member did not necessarily think that the change in size was a concern, the other 4 expressed interest in
Yes.
feedback on the cart
Yes,
size.
they did.
So.
Right, so,
however you
but
phrase
also,
it-
we can also, we can ask that question too, because I think they're two different things. If you're,
Okay.
if you're getting, for example, if you're using the bins right
Yeah.
now, would you be happy to receive a lidded recycling cart and a lidded trash cart?
Yeah,
That's one
yes.
question.
Yep.
And then you can ask them also about the size. But
Right.
I agree with Stephanie, get the feeling out of it.
The town is considering
Yeah.
providing 135, 196 as part of automated pickup. Would this work for your household? But then, because if you just get very unsatisfied from this, we still don't know what they want. That's my concern.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I think it's a start.
I think to select board member Boucher's point, it's more so gathering the data to say, well, if it doesn't work, then the 35, they're saying that 35 gallons not gonna work, so. we're gonna
Right,
need
right.
something larger, so you gain the data from it more than
Yeah.
anything else.
Do you want to break it into 2 questions to see if people object to the 96-gallon recycle cart as opposed to the 35-gallon trash cart?
I mean, I did already get a complaint about the size,
Well, we're going to get complaints.
about the 96 gallon.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're gonna get complaints one way or the other. The question is trying to land in a
The
place.
problem with that question is it doesn't mention that there would be other options. For example, you could get a second 35 gallon
Yeah,
container.
but we'd have to charge. We'd have to, I mean, it's gonna get administratively more complex.
Well, that's the problem with this question anyway, because it's, you
It's
know,
limiting.
Yeah, but this is the question that 4 members of the board.
no, I understand that, but it's gonna be a problem because we're never gonna have a statistically relevant survey.
No, it
You know
won't
what I
be
mean? So,
statistically relevant.
We're just gonna have to use whatever information we get to
Yes.
help in decision-making.
Yes,
We can't necessarily say that, you know, there's other factors going into this decision process. For example, the survey doesn't explain to people that that's the only cart you're gonna get $66,000 from the state to
Yeah.
provide. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of information that obviously people aren't gonna know. So basically, you're just asking them, would it be sufficient for your needs, for your household needs?
okay, well, would this be sufficient for your household needs?
No, it's one way to do it.
Well-
Instead of saying, how do you feel, just say, would this be sufficient for your needs?
I guess if they're gonna be taking information from the survey, thinking that that's all their options are gonna be, that concerns me because that doesn't include the fact that they will have overflow bags and a second cart available. So that's my,
I know, it's just.
they're gonna read into this
I know.
question
Okay.
and
so
not know
now-
that there are other
Right, but the problem is, this is the question.
I know, but that's why this was
It is what it-
problematic.
Yeah, but the problem is that we roll the carts into an open meeting on television. And I'm guessing that the other four, not me so much because I seem to be more on board, the other four are getting the phone calls and the stopped in the supermarket and stuff, you know what I mean?
Who
Because
knows?
people
Who
try to
knows?
figure out who's gonna listen. I
If
know.
anybody actually watches this.
How many
program.
calls have you gotten? That many calls? How many overall?
I've gotten about 5 calls and we've had at least 2 homeowners come in and purchase bags to try and get and take advantage of the current price of the bags in case it were to go in that direction because they do not believe it will be sufficient for their household. So they spent about $150 on bags.
Really?
Correct.
That's interesting. I never even thought about that. We had a run on the overflow
That's
bags.
interesting.
Who would have thought? I mean, that to me, I didn't even think about. So they're concerned enough that they felt they needed to buy a bunch of overflow bags.
That is what they stated to the
Yeah.
administrative assistant, yes.
Okay, all right. So.
I still think we should ask a question about the lidded, having a lidded wheeled cart. And then, then we go to the one about the
Yeah.
size.
Why don't we start with that? Would you like to receive a lidded trash and lidded recycling?
Well, who's not gonna say yes to that?
And then next is going to be,
I mean, but you're asking a question that I know the answer to. They're gonna say yes. I mean, there will be some people that'll say no, but.
and the
most
next
people-
question will be the proposed size for the.
I don't
for
think you have to say propose cart size preferences, do you?
What do you mean?
Can't you just say,
We're considering this, the trash and recycling committee made a recommendation. The town is
Oh, so let's say
considering.
the trash and recycling committee has recommended recycling committee, blah, committee has recommended a 35-gallon trash container and a 96-gallon recycling container.
Yes.
If,
well, they would be carts, there you would put the cart in there.
well, but again, to simplify to Kathy's point, I didn't know what the word cart was, so I think container, wheeled container.
Lidded, then put lidded in,
Yes.
okay.
Has recommended a 35-gallon and the 96-gallon. If additional, not options, not opportunities, if additional,
Wait, now you're confusing.
Yeah.
no, I'm not. We're also available,
No,
would this be, what's the
That's not-
word?
no, you can't ask it like that. You can't.
But they have to know that they're not gonna be tied into just a 35-gallon
I mean,
container.
my.
Yeah,
board-
but I think,
Yeah, but the select board trusted at that meeting that what they had wanted in there would stay in there. This.
It
was-
is, it's staying in there, but they have
No,
to
but-
know that they're not only gonna be tied down to a 35-gallon.
Yeah, but they
That's a
really-
hardship.
yeah, but they can't get more without paying for it, so that's
Yeah.
why that will be misleading. I think to put that,
Well, then how would you word it so that they don't feel that it's gonna be a hardship?
You'd have to ask a separate question.
yeah.
Ask one question
Right.
about the cart sizes and then underneath you could proposedly draft language that states
Right,
that if you were able to purchase
Would this
additional,
change your, would this change your response?
Would this make it easier?
Well, okay, would this make it easier if you're able to purchase an additional cart?
right, something like that,
For
but,
an annual fee?
but not putting it all together.
No, you're not purchasing, if you could have an additional cart based on an annual fee,
For a fee. We'll say for a fee.
for a fee, yeah.
Okay, would,
Yeah, because I think you need to leave this question in there.
no, I'm not arguing that part.
I'm not.
All I'm
not
saying is-
Anticipating that we're gonna get a really great response.
The trash and recycling committee has recommended a 35-gallon and a 96-gallon
Yeah,
recycling cart as part of an automated pickup system.
As part of an automated.
That's what's in the original one.
Okay, I don't have mine, Kathy does, sorry.
yeah.
Would
Oh,
that-
there you go. I'm sorry. I've written-
No,
Would
that's
that
good.
be sufficient for your household? Yes, no? And then you can have comments. Somebody could say, well, I'd be fine with a 35-gallon trash cart, but the 96-gallon might be too big. I mean, if you give them a chance
Part
to
of an
put
automated-
comments there, you'll get more
Okay, and
better
then
response, I
if-
think.
if you could have an additional, 35-gallon trash, wheeled lidded trash container for an annual fee, would that make it easier for you?
That would be okay. Yes or no?
Yes. I mean, I agree.
Yes or no?
If you could have an additional, do you think that would satisfy all fronts?
You're doing great on the questions. I'm fixing the front part of this. I think, just
Okay,
because I think if we set
If
the
you have
table
an
right,
additional 35-gallon cart for a fee, would that be?
would that be easier? Would that be an easier transition? Would that be an easier transition? Does that sound good? If you could have an additional 30.
I think what you'd have to do is if you answered no,
If no, okay,
Right. because that's not going to apply to people that are fine with it.
if no, would an additional 35-gallon trash cart for an annual fee make the transition easier?
Yeah, something like that. And then yes or no. I think it has to be related to the previous question.
No, that's a good point.
Did we hit them all?
To satisfy your household needs? Yes or no?
I guess I can't even read my scribbles.
Was there another question on here, Stephanie, that we didn't cover on yours? Oh, how can the town help you to divert more toward recycling?
Recycling, composting. I don't know. I added recycling twice, but clearly I was thinking of another word, sorry.
okay. Maybe this says enough. How about? We are seeking your feedback to better understand residents' habits and preferences regarding trash and recycling. The Trash and Recycling Committee recommends that the town move to automated trash pickup to reduce the cost of curbside pickup. Our goal is to reduce waste tonnage while offering better waste management options for residents. We would appreciate your input.
Yes. Boom.
Boom. Yes? Want to read it?
That's okay. I just think it's,
I just took a
Yeah,
lot of these
as long as
Yes.
out.
less is more on that. I
Yes,
really think. less
agreed.
is
Right,
more.
no, but the sentences were kind of there.
Yeah,
Yes.
And I get what, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, we're giving them too much information.
Yes,
And I feel like they're gonna start with, I don't care, give us.
agree
your
100 million trillion times. And I still
Yeah.
want to put to your point, I'd love to put that question about age at the bottom,
Age what?
the age ranges. At the end. as
Yeah, no, I
previously
do want
discussed.
the demographic.
yeah. So you're putting address,
Hook them in on the survey.
how many people in the household and age range all going on to the end?
Well, I
Yeah.
think address should go at the top because we have to file it by address.
But
Age range should go at the
No,
bottom.
no, put it all at the bottom.
Address too?
Yeah, you wanna hook them in.
All right.
You wanna get them interested. The minute they see that you're messing with their trash cans, they're gonna want to take the survey.
Okay.
But that will not
I-
eliminate people from providing multiple surveys, and then once they get to the bottom and
Yeah,
What?
somehow it has to say at the beginning that we only want one survey.
Oh, okay, okay.
This survey is per household,
Yeah, this is.
and
a
that's why I
household
wanted,
survey.
please
So
add
in they
your,
appreciate, in the words, we appreciate your input, you can put it right there.
Yeah, I think it should be right at the beginning,
the address.
Oh, the address.
but also in
Oh,
the preamble, it should say something about how we're seeking information
This survey is per household.
per a household. per
Okay, it
household.
can go right down here. I'm sorry, can you even read my scribbles? So it's this sentence here, we are seeking.
Yep, I got that one.
And then this, which is automated trash pickup to reduce cost of curbside pickup. And then the ARCO. And then right here, we would appreciate one
We
survey
request
per
only
household.
One household member submit a survey.
Yes, perfect.
Wait, how did you say it?
We request only one household member submit a survey.
Yes, because we want just one input per household.
So if
Or
my
you could just
husband
say-
submitted and I submitted.
We're gonna
we're
negate one of
requesting
them.
One house.
This survey is per household.
But yeah, we're gonna negate it. We're only gonna keep
Yeah.
one.
I know, but just to,
Yeah.
okay.
So we're removing the household information. So how many members are in your household and what is the age of head of your household? Of the head of your household? You said no range, right?
Yeah,
So what is the age of the head of your household? So we're making that one and we're removing that and we're putting that towards the bottom.
Yep,
is that good?
yeah,
Right? I mean,
yeah.
Then the first question will then be. Current cart information. What are the current what is the current sizes of your trash and recycling cart/containers? 35 gallon, 64 gallon, 94 gallon, 96 gallons, unknown other, recycling cart, 18 gallon bin, 35 gallon, 64 gallon, 96 gallon, unknown others. Is that correct?
Bin is 18 gallons.
Hmm?
You said 18-gallon bin.
That's the green one.
So it is, I didn't know how much was in it.
We can do 14 to 18 because I think there's some of the other ones that are smaller.
Okay.
I wanted to know if you want to let one question at the very end that they may not, it's optional.
Oh, keep going, Rebecca.
Oh,
Can we just? keep
Finish,
going?
okay, when
Yeah.
we're done, when we're done, tell me.
So then how many trash, not recycling carts do you currently put out each week? Are we keeping that or not?
I like that,
Okay,
yeah.
then that brings us to 3. So waste management needs. How often is your current trash cart full? Is your current recycling cart large enough? That's acceptable?
Yeah, I like
What was the first one? How often is your
Current trash cart full?
two full? We changed it just to full?
I
Too
was
full.
trying to follow, but there's a lot of conversations. That's why I want
Yeah.
to do it again. So
How often do you find that your current,
I thought the question was
Trash
okay the way it
container.
was. Too full, right? Occasionally, because that means the top is up. Right?
so is 2 full?
Yeah, I like the words too full because that's when you roll it out and you got the top, I mean, I've done it, right? I mean. Before being.
how
so
often
hot.
is your trash container too full to handle? Or
Yeah, and that means you're piling a bag on top.
always, often? Can we change occasionally to sometimes instead of,
I mean, Steve
How
Baker said to
often
me,
do you find-
I think we throw out one bag, a kitchen bag every day. I said, really? You throw out 32?
can we think of the children, please, and what kind of planet?
Do you want me to change that to sometimes or leave it as occasional?
Can we leave it, can we make it sometimes, because occasionally. Always, often, sometimes never.
What?
Then is your current recycling cart large enough? Yes, no, I don't recycle regularly. Then that takes you to the next question, which is food waste and composting.
Mhm.
Approximately 30% of your trash is food waste. Do you currently compost food waste at home? Yes, no, comment. Then trash disposal costs and waste reduction. If it resulted in savings to the town and taxpayer, how likely are you to reduce your trash output and recycle more? That was the one I had question marks all over it, because I'm not
Wait.
sure what you guys did.
Wait, can you, sorry, can you back up and just remove at home from do you currently compost?
Yep, done.
And say the next part again?
For the trash disposal costs and waste reduction, the one about the savings in towns and taxpayers,
right.
I have like question marks all over it, because I'm not.
Yeah, just say it again.
The one that we had originally was if it resulted in savings to the town and taxpayers, how likely are you to reduce your trash output?
Oh,
Like,
here's how it's gonna be.
okay,
How likely are you to reduce your trash output?
sorry, how likely
Are you
to reduce your trash?
output in order to reduce the cost of disposal for the town?
Trash.
Well,
Okay.
so trash is already in there.
All right,
Very likely, likely, unlikely, And do we really need very unlikely?
I don't think we do need that. I think that's too much.
Never.
Number 6 becomes how likely are you to reduce your trash output in order to reduce the cost of disposal to the town?
That was that. Isn't that? Oh,
I'm just reading it back to make sure I got
No,
it.
that's fine.
That's good.
oh, yeah, sorry. Oh my
And
God.
then it goes, the other one I have question marks, would you have a lidded trash and recycling cart? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Are we putting that in there? A lidded trash and recycling one, or?
It said wait a minute, where's mine? Well, it started out as yes.
Could
Oh
I
my
just-
God.
could I-
Would you like to receive a lidded and wheeled trash cart?
Cart,
Can I-
cart.
Can I suggest something rather than that question? That in the beginning, when we say that we're looking at automated curbside pickup, we could say this, in order to accomplish this, we will provide residents with a lidded
We
wheel.
could do that.
Yes,
You want to-
because that starts it out with a favorable.
Yeah.
So let me write that down. All
So
right,
then that goes to the next question, which is proposed cart sizes, which we said the trash and recycling committee has recommended a 35-gallon trash cart and 196-gallon recycling cart as part of an automated pickup system. Would this be sufficient for your household needs? Yes, no, comment. If you answered no, would an additional 35-gallon cart for a fee satisfy your household needs? Yes, no.
Yeah, that's smooth.
That's pretty good.
What about this additional comment one? Are we keeping that in too? Number 8?
you never know what people might say.
I mean, do you have any additional suggestions, concerns or comments?
I was gonna say, do you want to ask them to leave their email address if they want future updates? Information, because like when you did that template, we could have emailed that out,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So if we had an email list of people that are interested in this type of endeavor, that's not a bad thing.
Yes.
That could work.
On that one question about, do you compost?
Yeah.
Can you change 30% to 1/3? Just because the less it looks like math.
I think that's a lot better.
Yeah, this is good.
A lot better. Was there any other one on here?
What
we
did,
get everything in there?
did you want to add something, Kathy?
I thought rather than the question, do you want to receive it, we put this, if we put this at the front of the survey, that statement, if we say the trash recycling committee is recommending that we move to automated pickup to reduce the cost of curbside pickup. I can take out the words in order. To facilitate automated pickup, each household will receive a lidded wheeled trash cart and recycling cart. And then we want one household to respond. That way, as they're reading through this, they're gonna know this is why we're asking these questions.
Can you bold that? Can you
So
put that in
say
bold?
approximately what of your trash is food waste? You don't want 30%?
No, I want
She's wanted
1/3. I
1/3.
want 1/3. I'm sorry, but 30, sometimes the math,
Yeah, 1/3's a nice number.
yeah, it's just easier to read. If you do that, can you put that, if you add the notation that Kathy just wrote, can you bold it so that people see that they're actually getting something from the town?
Right, if that's at the front of the survey, that's gonna help
I
them
want them to catch
understand
their
why we're
attention.
I think
asking.
that's a huge thing to get a lidded wheeled.
Agree, and that's why I
It's a
want it to be
huge thing.
bolded, because it's a
So-
big deal.
So after the word
That's why I'm
Curbside
glad
pickup
that that's going
to
in there.
facilitate automated pickup, each household will receive a lidded wheeled trash cart and recycling cart.
Will receive both a lidded wheeled.
Oh, yeah, okay, both, I know,
Yeah.
will receive both, the word both, a lidded wheeled trash cart and recycling cart.
Right.
And now as they read those questions, they're gonna
Yeah, it'll make more
Much
sense. It'll make a
better
lot more
understand
sense.
of why we're
Yes.
asking them about their
Brilliant.
sizes.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause to me, that's the biggest thing is you like, why do you care what I throw out? No, I mean, if, when I first moved to town, if somebody had given me something like this, I'd be, what do you care? I throw out some trash,
Yeah,
some weeks more.
yes.
I wouldn't know why you wanna know that.
I'm gonna get.
Can we, before we do another thing though, can we approve the minutes so I can send them?
Yep,
You get a copy? I mean, because this is this month's meeting and I wanted, this is October and November, so.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as
For
presented.
October and November?
Oops, I got this one.
Here's November.
This one. Yep. And yes, I mean.
So Kathy moves and seconds.
Sure.
Motion to adjourn.
So move 7:20. All in favor?
Jan seconds.
Okay. Unanimously.